Solo que conmigo encontraste tu abrigo y por ahí encontraste algo más. Tú lo sabes. No nos desviemos del caso, solo tú y yo, mujer. Tú eres perfecta, tú eres mi caro y yo puedo ser tu nuera. Sé que tú quieres más de eso. Flaca, tírame ese hueso que él no te dio.
Say what's wrong or right. No. It's not hard to fool me. No. 'Cause I'm addicted to the good life. Yes. Yeah. Lead the way. I follow. No need to say.
Yeah, man, we're about to get this thing started. I need you guys to hit that share button for me. Yes. Don't adjust your screen. It is Jamison Samuels. Back for one last show on Culture and Conversations Presents # Group Chat.
It's not a problem, no. 'Cause I know what I'm getting into. Yes. Yeah. And nothing can stop me. No. 'Cause I'm addicted to what you and I realize. Lead the way. I follow. No need to say. Where we are heading now, babe. I follow to the edge of it all. So tell your good lies, 'cause I'll buy no matter what. Yeah. Susceptible now, before the moment flies, before it flies. So tell your good lies, 'cause I'll buy no matter what. Susceptible now, before the moment flies. I know that I just met you, but you look.
Yeah, we're about to get this thing started, man.
I know
9:30, let's go.
I would like to do, but you just keep on talking. I see your dog needs walking. Your folk drive you insane. I know, yeah, that's true. Of course, you ain't the one to blame. Keep on talking to me. You keep on telling me your dreams. You keep on talking to me, but I just wanna see you move. Yeah, I just wanna see you move. I just wanna see you move. Yeah, I just wanna see you move. Wanna see you move. Sure, I like to listen. It's not like I don't wanna know. It's just that you've been talking to me 3 nights in a row. I think it's time to let go. Forget the past, just lose control. 'Cause life's too short for yapping. Come on and dance, come give me soul. You keep on talking to me. You keep on talking to me. You keep on talking. but I just wanna see you move. I just wanna see you move.
I want everybody happy. I just want everybody happy. I do, I really do. I just want men happy too. Hey man, this is Jamison Samuels, the guest host of Culture and Conversation Presents # the group chat. Yeah, we're gonna get this thing started. We're early. I'm just trying to give everybody time to hit that share button and help me out with getting this word out. It ain't even football season right now in terms of tonight. So y'all just need to tune in. Let's go. Man, we got listener Q&A. Oh, we gotta set the mood, Jereza. Gotta set the mood. Gotta set the mood. Let's go. Hey man, we about to get this thing started, man. I'm Jamison Samuels. I'm filling in for, you know what I'm saying? I'm filling in for Jamison, the regular co-host of Culture and Conversation Presents # the group chat. Hey man, we about to get this thing started, man. I got a listener Q&A. If you've got a question, if you want to try to find a high value man, if you want to try to find a high value woman, if you want to try and connect with your better self, you know, this is the place for it tonight. I'm gonna help everybody out tonight. Let's go. Miss Bernicia, what's going on, fam? Man, we're gonna help Bernicia find her an old rich man. Or at least an older rich man. Let's go. Money work. Y'all hit that share button for me. Money work. Yo digo las cosas como son, no quiero ninguna aceptación. Tampoco vengo a pedir perdón porque mis sentimientos se volvieron la canción. Yeah, no me vale mucho como tú me ves. Sabes, tú me llegas solo a los pies. Para mí ser grande es un interés. Ser un buen humano para mí es un deber. El dinero ya lo veré. No vendo mi alma, lo lograré. Seré el más grande, no olvidaré de dónde vengo ni cómo voy. Money work, yeah. El mundo quiere dinero, yeah, yeah. Money work, se arregla con dinero, yeah. Money work, de corazón. La plata no te hace ser feliz. Ella de corazón, de corazón. La plata no te hace ser feliz. Money work. El mundo quiere dinero. I mean, what are you gonna do? What are you bringing to the table? If you want a man who makes $300,000 a year, what are you bringing to the table? Or are you trying to be the table? Money work. Lunático. Man, I need y'all to do me a favor, hit that share button. Let me set my watch. Women always say they the table. Man, I'm gonna give you guys a mix of real advice and fake advice. I'll let you guys decide which is which. This is Culture and Conversation Presents # the group chat, and I'm Jamison Samuels, impeccably dressed in my 1-bedroom basement. Let's go. Bernicia, we're gonna talk on the phone tonight too. You better give me a call. Women be like, I'm the table. Don't ask me what I bring to the table. I am the table. Beanie Weenies. I'm going to get into it, man. I'm going to try to, like I said, I'm going to try to give some fake advice and some real advice. We got some great questions that people submitted. And so I'm going through making sure that I ask everybody, man. If you never have been a part of this before, welcome to the show for the first time. I'm Jamison Samuels, the alter ego of our normal co-host, Jamison Smallwood, the founder and the last podcaster of Culture and Conversations. Let's go. Man, you better go find you a cooking class, Bernicia, and learn how to make you good 5 or 7 recipes from scratch. If only you knew somebody who was teaching a cooking class virtually online and giving away the content for free. If only you knew somebody who was doing that. Man, let me get these questions. Let me get these questions in place. Yeah, man, we're about to stop this thing though in a minute. Let's go. You got your doctorate, Gloria? Hey man. This is the intro. Let me clap it up for myself. This is another episode of Culture and Conversations presents #group chat. I am a godfather, so I can say that I'm the godfather, Jamison Samuels, filling in for our normal co-host, Jamison Smallwood. Thank you guys for tuning in and being part of the conversation. The fragrance this evening is just au naturel. That's right. I did not put on any cologne because I'm about to go to bed after this podcast. And I don't want to be smelling like day old cologne in my bed. So yeah, au naturel. And the candle for the evening is still Better Home and Gardens. Apple, cinnamon, fall smells, fall fragrances. Yeah, man, thank you guys for tuning in and being part of the conversation. And I just want to kind of set us up here. This is the second to last episode of #group chat, man. Can you believe that? The second to the last episode of Culture and Conversation presents #group chat. After that, I ain't doing this no more. Not in this way. Not in that way. Yes, wood wicks are nice. Wood wicks are nice. Apple, cinnamon, I enjoy that. Yes. That's the candle fragrance of the evening. Better Home and Gardens, apple, cinnamon. I had you guys submit some questions. You guys submit some questions, and I sent these questions, this questionnaire out several times. And value Black men. I got ignored multiple times, and still here we are putting together a show for you. And so we're going to just get straight into it. I asked people to give me their fake names so their #no-names would still be honored. And at the same time, I asked them to give me details if this is a serious question or not. And surprisingly, all of these are serious questions. And then they also gave me the actual question. So here we go. Okay, our first question tonight is, how do you feel? Okay, so I get to give my opinion. How do you feel about posting your significant other on social media? Is it important to you? If they don't, do you think that they're hiding something? So if they don't post me, are they hiding something? Now this is interesting. This is actually a topic that I have some experience with as your resident Love Doctor Who podcast, the Godfather, Jamison Samuels. I am a godfather. Shout out to my goddaughter, Allie. Hope she's not up watching any of this. And if she is, oh well. They knew the risk when they named me to be the Godfather. So social media. What are the rules of social media? Do you think that your significant other is hiding something if they don't post you on social media? And I got to be honest. I think that social media, first and foremost, I always say that social media is not a real thing. Social media is a construct. It has real consequences. If you post something flamboyant, outlandish, it has real consequences. Alicia, this is who the question came from. So shout out to Alicia. And yes, I think that if you post something on social media, it has real consequences, but social media is not a real place. It is a curated experience that people have come up with to show their content and tell people about themselves. And it's a sick and disgusting place that produces people like myself, Jamison Samuels. And so the question is, hey, what do I think about this? I don't have any strong opinions either way. I do think that when social media was very new and popular, in the sense of it was new and fresh, I think everybody had social media at some point. And so for people to be like, well, I'm not on social media and, I don't post on social media, I think that was very rare back in the day. And I do think that people were probably lying when they said that. In 2023, I don't think that people are lying when they say that they don't post their significant others on social media for, keeping their business private. But I do know this is going on, and this is where the misogyny, some might call this misogyny, some might call this truth. but depending on how you feel about what I'm about to say, I do think that there are a lot of people pretending to be single on social media. Let me see if I've got the right chime here. Yes, that's the right chime. There are a lot of people pretending to be single on social media. And I think Bernicia actually said this on her timeline, talking about having a little, or on my timeline about having a little friend. But there's a lot of people out there that got little friends, and they're just not posting their little friends because they don't want their other little friend to know about their other little friend. So yes, I think there are a lot of people. Justin, what's going on, fam? I think that a lot of people are out here hiding their status on social media. And I know for instance that a lot of Instagram models do this. They will post the gifts that they're getting and the lifestyle that they're living that somebody else is paying for, but they won't post the actual person because they like having men think that they've got a chance to bag them. And two, if you don't post your boyfriend or your girlfriend, you got a chance to upgrade your boyfriend, or your girlfriend. And so yes, Natasha, what's going on, fam? No, we just started. This is the first question. How do you feel about posting your significant other on social media? And I was saying that in terms of my real perspective on this, I don't think it's an issue in my relationship. Shout out to my significant other, the future Mrs. Jamison Samuels. She could teach you guys a thing or two about how to get a high value man. That's horrible. It's going to start so much trouble. But in all seriousness, I don't post my significant other on social media. I don't post any of us, pictures of us or anything like that. And I kind of have a thing about that. I do enjoy having the anonymity of keeping my relationship and not sharing it with people until I'm ready to share it with people. And I respect her in terms of where she's at with not wanting to have every little move we make on social media, because this ain't a soap opera. This is my life. This is her life, and we don't want to, make you guys aware and privy to every little thing on social media. Because if you roll out the relationship on social media, then you got to roll out the breakup. You got to roll out the divorce. You got to roll out everything else that comes with it, right? Shout out to everybody who just pops up after a few months of not posting, talking about they single and they healing and they back out here in these streets. Shout out to everybody who does that. And but yeah, I think it's natural for some people not to post their relationship on social media. I've seen married couples that I know personally not post very much about their day-to-day relationship stuff. And then all of a sudden you may see like an anniversary announcement or an anniversary acknowledgement or some other significant moment that they're sharing with their family and friends. But every relationship, every woman who is in and out of my life, I don't have to post that on social media until it's significant to me. And even then, I've got to be mindful that I'm sharing a relationship and a life with somebody else. So if she doesn't want that part of her life on social media, I've got to respect that to some degree, right? And I think that there's a balance that you have to strike there. And so, yeah, I get to, when you become Mrs. Smallwood, then I get to acknowledge you and say, hey, this is my wife, But if you're not Mrs. Jamison Samuels, then, I don't feel a need to post you. And I've done all of this. I've posted people and, some of the folks in the comments can tell you today, man, I've posted folk and told business about things and and put every little thing I did on social media. And I had to go through and still am going through deleting that stuff out of Facebook memories. Because that's what comes with having a very public relationship. What do y'all think in the comments, man? How do y'all handle that? Do y'all post your relationships and all that stuff on social media? Do you find that is an intrusive thing or something that you have to feel secure in your relationship, that you want your man or your woman to know everything about, or have themselves displayed on your social media so people know that, hey, this is who I'm with and leave me alone? I do think there's value, though, to updating your social media status to some degree, because I know you can get a lot of attention if people think you're single. And I don't want that attention when I'm in a relationship. I'm trying to be a faithful, high value man. That's my answer. So I think posting your stuff is sometimes valuable and helpful, but I don't think it's necessary to document every step of your relationship with your significant other. And honestly, if you're with somebody who is cheating and who's going to cheat, who's going to exercise their options, then they're going to do that whether they post you or not. Just sorry. That's just how it is. Let me read some of the stuff here that you guys have written in the comments. Let's see here. Okay. I ain't trying to be posting and deleting. Yes, Natasha, that is facts. Because that's the part of the conversation that we don't talk about. We have to roll it back. We have to roll everything back out. You got to roll your single back out once it's over. Shout out to Janae. Janae says wedding basically was on Facebook Live. The divorce was quiet. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about the. Sorry to hear that, Janae. Sorry to hear that. Definitely was rooting for you guys, and but I also understand that things happen. I've been there, done that. So I've definitely been through the public Facebook love. Look how in love I am. And the whole time she was plotting to destroy my life. And you know what? I gave her permission to do it. And a ring. How about that? Let's see here. See more laughs and comments here. He's there, but he isn't on social for a reason. Yeah, exactly, right? Like, people may have reasons for that. Their jobs may preclude them from being on social media and being active on social media. And I gotta be honest, all it takes is one nasty argument about social media, and then people will probably retreat from it. Because I know somebody who, a friend of mine, who got into some argument about something on social media with his wife, and he was just done with that. He was like, I ain't about to keep sitting up here arguing on social media, arguing over social media, because I'm out here with the missus and all that stuff. So he stopped that. He got off social media and kept it moving. It's just not worth it, man. The Bible says, first commandment is to marry a high value man. The second commandment is to avoid the appearance of evil. And so, yeah, I'm sure that's all misquoted, but at the end of the day, you don't want any confusion. So leave that alone. Natasha says you get attention when people think you're in a relationship too. You do. And yes, you do. You definitely do. I know that firsthand. You definitely do. Who you out with, Jamison? Who you out with? Hey, leave me alone. I'm good. I'm good. You could see, let me move on. You might could have got one of them dinners that I've been posting. You could have. But see, you didn't want this. You did not want this. Oh my goodness, man. Let me see. I'm gonna work on my soundboard over here, y'all. Let me see what sounds I've got here.
You see how they do us?
There we go.
How they did that?
You didn't want this commitment.
You see how they do us? You see how they did that?
So now you sit over here talking about who that on my timeline. Mind your business.
You see how they do us? You see how they did that?
All right, man. Yeah, it doesn't stop cheating. Putting your business on social media ain't gonna stop people from cheating. Justin says, as long as you love your partner, relationships are not easy. Yep. Relationships are hard. The sad trombone, it's in effect. Yeah. So you gotta understand, social media is not a real place. Don't get caught up on that. Don't be out here trying to craft this image of your relationship and it's us against the world, bae, and all that stuff. Man, I've been there and done that. Man, just focus in on loving the person that you're with. Focus in on cashing them checks that they giving you. Focus in on depositing them cash apps. Focus in on getting those emojis in the right place over his face when he takes you out to dinner. Focus in on the things that really matter, that really matter in your relationship. Focus on the things that really matter in your relationship. Social media is not one of those things. All right, so let me go on to the next question here. Question number 2 for the evening. We only got 14 questions. Some of these I'm not going to do because at the end of the day, I'm a high value man, and I'm not going to just do any and everything on these internets. Let's see here. Did I stop this music from playing? Let me make sure. All right, let me kill this off in the background. All right, second question. This is a real question. Here is the question from Casey. Can white lies damage your relationship? Can white lies damage your relationship? For example, if your significant other tells a small lie about not taking out the trash, or they forget to do something that they really, forget to do something that they really didn't. So I guess this person's saying, if I'm reading correctly, because it's late at night, so y'all bear with me. I'm a high value man. I don't have time to read all the words. I just make conclusions and assumptions and then expect the rest of the world to follow along. So basically, does one lie make all other truths questionable as you go through the relationship? How do you feel about dishonesty in a relationship? This is a good question. Can small lies hurt your relationship? Can small lies hurt your relationship? Yes, they can. They can really hurt the relationship. I have a thing about that personally, and this is actually real tea. This ain't me playing podcasts and playing Jamison Samuels. I personally feel that it's important that people do what they say and say what they're going to do. I try to operate that way. I try to move that way. If I make a promise to somebody I'm in a relationship with, it can be something small and innocuous like, hey, I'm going to come help you move some furniture around in your apartment or your house. Then I'm gonna come do that. So if you make a promise to me or say you're gonna do something for me, I expect you to do it, right? I expect you to do it. But now it's simple. If you say you can't do it or something came up and you changed, then you just tell me something came up and it changed, and I'm fine with that. But to not do it and pretend like you did it, or to not do it and come up with an excuse for why you didn't do it, aka a lie, I think that's manipulative, and I think that's a short-sighted view of your relationship, and that person doesn't respect you very much if they're operating that way. And that's my take on it. I think it's best to tell the truth in a relationship. If you can't do something for your partner or your spouse, then you just say that, like, hey, I can't do this for you. I can't do it, and I would love to help you with it, but I can't do it. But now once you commit yourself to it by saying, hey, I'm going to do this, or you own this as a part of the relationship, then I expect you to do it, because at the end of the day, lying is not a recourse for a relationship. Like if you lie to me about taking out the trash, something small and benign, then what would you do if you got a chance to sleep with that person at your job that you've been talking about in your head and fantasizing about? Are you going to do that then too and then lie to me about it? So if it's easy for you to tell a small lie, then it's really an opportunity then at that point in time for you to tell a larger one much later on. Chris, what's going on, man? This is my realtor, y'all. This is my realtor, Chris Van Zant. He is the man who made it possible for me to move into my home and to sell my previous home. So Chris, we're having some fun tonight. I'm parodying a internet celebrity known as Kevin Samuels by calling myself Jamison Samuels. So Chris, don't take anything you hear me say unless I say that it's serious. Don't take anything that I'm saying seriously unless you hear me say take it serious. So we're talking about white lies in a moment, answering questions, and the question is, hey, can a white lie hurt your relationship? And I believe it can. And so what do you guys think? I want to read what you guys have in the comments here. It's that kind of show tonight. We're having fun, man. And we're just talking and discussing these things. I'm Jamison Samuels, filling in for Jamison Smallwood, the host of Culture and Conversations. Justice says those small lies can turn into big lies. Exactly. Yep, if you will lie about something small, you'll lie about big stuff, especially if it happens often. It will definitely be the case. Repeatedly lying is a character flaw. I agree with that. Chris says, I love you. Hey, man, appreciate you, man. Yes, white lies can build up. It's just a bad place to be. Like, just be honest. Because really, right, you can always justify telling somebody a lie. That's the thing about liars. Liars will always justify telling you a lie. They will try to flip it on you. Well, it's how you make me feel. It's how you make me feel. And it's you know, you're hard to talk to. You're intimidating. It's called truth and accountability. Be an adult. Deal with it.
You see how they do us? You see how they did that?
Thank you, Shannon. I appreciate that insight. So, Casey, I hope that helps you with your question. Don't let people lie to you. There's no need for that. Life is too short for you to live in somebody else's lie. I'm just going to be honest with that. So, yeah, it's too much to remember, Tasha. It's too much to remember. You got to have a great memory to lie. You do. You got to have a great memory to lie. Okay, so here's another great question. And this question came from Lisa. And this is another serious question. What are your thoughts about platonic friendships with the opposite sex in dating and marriage? So I'm assuming this person's talking about the age-old question, can you be friends with the opposite sex if you're not in a relationship with them and if you so happen to be in a relationship with somebody else? In dating, is it okay for your significant other to make new friends of the opposite sex while dating you? In marriage, do you and your partner need to share friends? And that's a really good question too. So you asked a couple good questions in this. So I'm gonna take a moment here and give you some real perspective. So if you hear me say real, then you know I'm telling you from a place of real, for honesty, not just for jokes and giggles. I think it's very human to make friends. Let's start there, right? I think it's a very human thing to make friends. What's going on, Felicia? How you doing, fam? I think it's very human to make friends. I think that's a social norm that's built into being a human is to make friends. And I do think that, it can be kind of clouded at times across different, gender norms, because sometimes, men pursue women and women are interested in being pursued by men. However, I think that it's a false assumption, once again, to believe that every relationship somebody forms with somebody of the opposite sex is always, built around sex or some type of sexual tension that's unspoken and unacknowledged. And so I think that people can form friendships. Yes, I think people can form friendships as adults with the opposite sex. I don't have a problem with that. However, you got to have boundaries. You've got to have boundaries. And it's just reasonable boundaries. Like, for instance, if I'm in bed with my significant other and spouse or significant other, and I'm getting text messages from whoever at 1 a.m. in the morning, that's a problem, right? That's a problem. Like you can't be texting me while I'm laying in bed with my significant other. That's just not going to be cool with me. There's going to be an issue there with me. Don't be calling me and expecting me to stop what I'm doing to talk to you. That's going to be, hey, you got to fit in where you get in. Hey, something's going on with you. I'll text you back. Hey, is everything okay? If it's an emergency and we're them kind of friends, you're a close friend that, hey, I got to stop what I'm doing for an emergency. Hey, I'll do that. But there's got to be boundaries. And two, these friends, going back to the question, these friends should be people that your significant other knows about, right? Like, why do you got secret friends, right? Why do you got secret friends? And I'm not saying you got to sit there and go through the list of every friend you got and tell me about all 217 friends. But what I would prefer is the first time that I'm hearing about a friend isn't in the middle of some crisis that's going on, right? And I know as a high value man, I know that I've experienced women who kept me in their life as a proxy boyfriend. Oh, y'all don't want to hear that.
You see how they do us? You see how they did that?
They kept me in their life as a proxy boyfriend. So, hey, if I need manpower, I'm calling Jamison, right? And they call me for all the manpower that doesn't require me clapping their cheeks, right? They don't call me for that manpower. They call me for all the other jobs. Hey, can you help me move something heavy? Can you come over here and provide protection for me against some crazy person that I used to let clap my cheeks, but because I wasn't letting you clap my cheeks? Can you come over here and make sure that I have what I need because I don't have a man? I've experienced that. And so I think that there's boundaries that have to necessarily be put in place, because friendships that are left unchecked in terms of boundaries, they're not really good friendships. They can become very exploitive. They can become disrespectful to the person that you're in a relationship with. So I think those are all things that you have to factor in. Do you have the appropriate boundaries? Have you communicated transparently about the relationship, aka the friendship? And are you being honest and truthful? Right? Like you shouldn't be having people hanging around in your friend zone. And I ain't talking about being friends. I think that's the difference. You shouldn't have people hanging around in your friend zone and you aren't and you using that as a masquerade for a friendship. That's not the friendship. A friendship is really where somebody's respectful of you and your life and your boundaries. And matter of fact, they actually want to see you happy with the person that you're with. If that person that you call a friend isn't happy for you in the relationship that you're in, they're never saying encouraging things. They're never blessing the person that you're with by saying high praise things of that person. Then yeah, you don't have a friendship. You got something else going on there and you need to go seek help about that. Let me read some of these comments. That's another good question. Thank you so much for that question. And yeah, we talked about boundaries there. Natasha, yep. Chris says, I agree. Sometimes friendships form, and you can't judge it based on attractiveness of the other person. Does that mean it's better to be to be friends with ugly people? Look, man, I have seen this happen in the sense of you'd be surprised at who people are actually like intimate with. And that's all I'll say. I won't go so far as to ranking people. But yeah, people, it don't matter about what you think is attractive. That ugly person that you think, oh man, ain't no way my husband or my wife is interested in that person. You never know. You never know. People commit adultery and violate boundaries in relationships with people who look like mud ducks, and they still do it. Lisa says, we don't have to share friendships, but friendships should be transparent and nothing janky or out of bounds. Exactly. It's a plus if everybody gets along, especially close friends. I don't support hiding friends or how we interact or engage with said friends. That's just sound wisdom there. You can't be out here hiding friends and stuff like that. Cause if I got to hide the friend, then why am I hiding that friend? Like, why am I hiding her, or hiding him? Why am I doing that? Natasha says in replying back to Lisa, I agree with this. I wonder how many people feel. Well, I wonder how people feel. There we go about this once marriage is involved. I just heard that body parts don't have a face. Yes, Chris, mud ducks. Yes, that's a South Georgia term there, mud ducks. So, yeah, if you're with somebody who doesn't understand that, hey, you got to be transparent and you got to have appropriate boundaries around things, then I think that's a problem, right? And I use this as an example. I use this as a positive example, and I'm not gonna call names per se, but I know that I was talking with my girlfriend. And we were spending the weekend together. And so I was at the house and I said, hey, one of my friends wants me to go run an errand with her, help her buy something that she's been, wanting to buy for her birthday. I won't say exactly what it is, but people who know my hobbies, they know exactly what I'm talking about. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna take her and we're gonna go shop for this thing. And she wants me to show her how to use it and blah, 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 blah. So I said, okay. So, but I told my girlfriend about it because one, I want to make sure my girlfriend knows where I'm at, why I'm there, and when I plan on returning. Second of all, I want there to be transparency there just between me and her about, hey, I'm not about to, not that she even thinks that, but hey, I'm not going to go out here and disrespect you, or I'm not going out here on some quasi date and I'm not telling you about it. And third of all, it's taking time away from us, right? We're spending time together. And don't get me wrong, we're not the type of relationship where we got to spend every moment of every day with each other. And quite frankly, we don't do that. But at the same time, if you've made the intention of coming to spend the weekend and hang out with me, then if I'm going to take time out of that equation, I need to make sure you're okay with that to a degree, right? I need to make sure that, hey, I'm checking in. Hey, I'm about to go do this. I know we're supposed to be spending the day together, but hey, I'll be back in a couple hours when I go help my friend. That's transparency. And then on top of that, she's met this friend. So there's a whole slew of conversation there that's taking place to make sure that everybody's cool and everybody's on the same page. So good question, Lisa. Good question. So now let's go into the next question. So this is question number 4 that we're about to pull up. Question number four. This is from Brandy. And this is yet another serious question. And this is a heavy question. So, this is about to get deep. This is a question about being honest in the bedroom. All right. So what basically the question is, the question revolves around, should you or shouldn't you fake it in the bedroom to make sure that your partner's ego is not bruised? Ooh, good question. Good question. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this. And this is a very serious, mature answer, I hope. Everything has to be up for communication and discussion in a relationship. Things that involve both people, even something as intimate and as sensitive as sex, it has to be something that we discuss and talk about. If you're not happy, or that your spouse is not happy, or your partner's not happy, you got to talk about that stuff, right? You got to have open lines of communications, even about difficult things. And I think part of what makes things get better in a relationship is that communication. Yes, it can be difficult at the time. Yes, it can be hard to hear, hey, I need you to do this better. I need you to do that better. But I think that at the end of the day, it's a good conversation to have. And this comes back to the white lies question that I just answered at the beginning. Lying about being pleased in the bedroom when you're not pleased in the bedroom, that's a white lie that's going to do nothing but breed contempt and hurt feelings at some point and create issues between y'all. And so, hey, you understand what it is and where it's at, and you can improve it if you would, and talk about it and communicate about it. And so I believe in being transparent. I believe in being honest and communicating. And this is the fun thing. Get in that bedroom and practice. I know that's a strange thing, but get in the bedroom and practice. Stop making it so, like people have this thing about, sex or whatever. People have this vision like, hey, oh man, it's just gonna be like the movies. And if it's not like the movies, then I don't want it. So man, you better go in there and figure it out. I'll give you an example of this from a relationship standpoint that has nothing to do with sex, but it's the same concept. I never forget. I was dating a beautiful woman, and she had spent the weekend for the first time hanging out with me. And I was going to impress her with my cooking. Man, I was going to blow her socks off in that kitchen. I was like, what do you want? She was like, I like meat, sauce, and cheese. I was like, I know exactly what to cook for you, sweetheart. I'm going to make you my lasagna. And so I went in the kitchen, made her a lasagna, and we had a great weekend, dinner that night, beautiful dinner, salad, all that stuff, I was in my bag, right? I was cooking, I was doing my thing. The next morning, we meet up in the kitchen, and I was like, yeah, I'll make some breakfast. I think I made like eggs and bacon, or eggs and sausage and grits, something like that. And I cooked her eggs, and no lie, I done made this massive lasagna that was amazing, full of greatness and deliciousness, and took all this skill in the kitchen to make. And I'm here cooking eggs, and I've always cooked eggs a certain kind of way. And then when she tried those eggs, she said, these eggs are horrible. Horrible. And yes, Chris, we're talking about practice, not the game, practice. Those eggs were horrible for her. She didn't like the eggs. She didn't like how I cooked my eggs. And so at this point in time, I was taken back. I could have been offended. I could have been upset. I could have been hurt over it. But then I realized it's like, well, I've never cooked eggs for anybody else other than my family, and we all eat eggs the same way. And so for the first time, I was confronted with somebody else's preference in the relationship, right? And so instead of complaining that she doesn't like the eggs, I took the communication that she offered. Hey, I like my eggs scrambled softer. And, for me, them eggs ain't done. If you got a little wetness to them at the time back then, the eggs, I would consider them eggs not done. I was like, them eggs ain't done. They a little too wet. But I started cooking eggs, and every morning I got up with the intention of cooking her eggs until she got to the point where those eggs were acceptable to her, where she could eat them and she could enjoy them, because I cared about her and I wanted to see her well-being, manifested. So I would learn how to cook her eggs. And so that's what I'm saying about the sex question. Man, get in the bedroom, practice, and learn how to cook each other's eggs. Let's move on to the next question. If you guys got anything in there you want to share, let me know. Okay, so that's the intro music. Let's see here what we got up here.
You see how they do us? You see how they did that?
That's pretty good. DJ logo. All right.
Yesterday's price is not today's price.
I'm gonna wear that out now. All right, so I'm familiar with my soundboard again. Let's move on to the next question here. And some of these questions are ridiculous, so we may not even get to these questions tonight. Let me read through this. Ooh. Would I ever date a friend's ex? How long would you wait if you did? How long is long enough? For example, you were cool with someone in high school, but you aren't friends anymore, and you date their ex. How close was the friend? Was it a close friend or an acquaintance? And this question is from Kevin. So the question is basically, would you date an ex? The question is basically, would you date an ex? I'm gonna come back and read y'all's comments too in a second. Would you date an ex? An ex is a friend's ex. Would you date a friend's ex? It definitely would depend on the kind of friend it was, right? Like it would depend on the situation and how serious their relationship was. Like if I had a friend who had an ex and I was dating, I thought she was attractive and I was like, oh man, she's all right. She's a 7-up, right? She's 7 and up. I would have to see first and foremost where they're at in their relationship. Hey, what kind of friends are y'all? Are y'all friends now as exes? Are y'all friends with benefits now as exes? Have you, it's all kind of things. Like, when's the last time y'all had sex with each other? How intimate, how long ago was that? Now if this is high school and here I am now, 40-plus-year-old man, yeah, I mean, I think that's an okay conversation. But if we're very close friends, you know what? There's just other ponds to fish in, man. Like, I have never met a woman that I was like, I saw with one of my friends at some point in their life, and I was just like, you know what I need to do? When they break up, I need to date her. Because what kind of friend am I if I did that? Like, I'm sitting there like waiting on them to break up? Like, nah, I wouldn't do that, but if you can't find nobody else, if you can't really find anybody else, I guess you can date them. I guess. But I wouldn't do that because then too, male ego gets involved, right? Like, it's just messy. Like I am talking about from a male perspective. Now women, I don't know how y'all get down. Y'all might do that, but I wouldn't do that because all it's gonna do is create tension between people. I think it's a no for me. But in this day and age where everything goes in 2023, it might be a yes for y'all. So I don't know. Let's see here. It's still talking about mud ducks. Yes, Chris, that was funny. Please never fake it. Just tell me and I'll work harder. That's it, man. You know what though? That's so much of like what it really means to be a high value man. A high value man listens to the woman he's with. And he doesn't get upset with her. He just works harder. That's all right, Chris. That's a good piece of advice, man. That's a good piece of advice, man. What was wrong with the eggs though? The eggs I just cooked them too far for her taste. Some people like an egg with a little bit of moisture in the egg from the egg. And it depends. Like for some people, they like the eggs real creamy and, I'm not, that was in my life back in 2000 and whenever that was. But, you gotta work on them eggs. Getting that kid, go in the bedroom, close that door and y'all practice. y'all figure some stuff out. Everybody wants that magic chemistry and that, and you might, and don't get me wrong, I know that's out there and exists for some people, but, that ain't everybody's experience. And that is, there's nothing wrong with you and your partner making the time to figure out what each of y'all's capabilities are. Shout out to the men and your capabilities. Hey, what's your capability? And what are your preferences? What are your comfort levels? What's your safety words? Blueberry cobbler. So what's your safety words? How far can we go? What can we do? What can't we do? What can we do if it's my birthday? You gotta figure out what works for y'all. And then once you have a robust assessment of what it's like between y'all, then you can decide, you know, if that's part of your decision-making process, you can decide if that's a relationship you want to commit to. But I think so often people, you know, they rather just, you know, collect, you know, either suffer in silence or break up with them and move on and put them in the friend zone because, like, yeah, he's whack in bed, but, you know, he's a great man. He's a great man every other way. Yeah, there are too many others out there to be dating an ex. I agree. Ex's friends. Dating a friend's ex. I agree with that. There's just too many people out there. Lisa says it's generally considered respectful to avoid dating a friend's ex as it can potentially strain the friendship and create unnecessary complications. I love that. It's important to prioritize the feelings and well-beings of those around us. I think that's the biggest part, right? You know, all the stuff that we're talking about is just simply avoiding, once again, the appearance of evil. Like I don't want to create that stress Now, if my friend is dead, that's horrible. This is horrible. That's a horrible caveat. Now, my friend's dead and she lonely and fine. I'm just saying. I'm not saying I would do it. I'm not saying I would. But I got to see where she at. Got to make sure she all right. Oh, man. These are stories I can't hardly tell. But these are stories I can't hardly tell. But let's just say when your friend dies, you have to make sure you're very careful as a single, young, attractive, handsome, allegedly doing well for himself man. Because if you're not careful, she might become codependent. She might become interested in you helping her get through difficult times. That's all I'm gonna say. I could say more, but I'll say less. Those eggs were not excellent. Yes, that's the issue with the eggs. They were not excellent. Pineapples, that's your safety word. Good for you. It's pineapples. Tropicana. Oh, Lord. Not dead. Yes, if they were dead. Dead friends. I'm just saying dead friends are different. My man said dead is a cat. I'm just saying if he's dead, you ain't got to worry about making him mad. Okay, he's dead. He's dead. I'm just saying. Keep your options open. One size don't fit all. That's all I'm trying to say. If he dead, then maybe. You know what I'm saying? It depends on how bad she is, man. Oh my goodness, man. Just don't have no picture. Don't have no picture of your dead friend at the wedding. Like he there as your best man, giving you the blessing. To clap his widow's cheeks. Just don't have his picture there. They'll be doing them little sand ceremonies and had a little 8x10 of his face there. Y'all pouring sand over that man. Oh my goodness, man. Just don't do that. Next question. Let's see here. Next question, man. Next question. This is another serious question. Oh my goodness. Y'all be asking some questions. Y'all asking Jamison Samuels all the tea tonight. Have you ever been a sugar daddy or a sugar mama? How about a sugar baby? Tell your story. Thank you, Ashley, for this question. Thank you, Ashley, for this question. Hey, shout out to Jada. What's going on, fam? So I got asked by Ashley, have I ever been a sugar daddy, / mama? Well, I can't be a sugar mama because I'm a man, but I'm sorry, I'm a high value man. Filling in tonight for Jamison Smallwood. My name is Jamison Samuels. I am your guest co-host for one last time on Culture and Conversation Presents #group chat. So have I ever been a sugar daddy? I ain't never really been rich enough. This is gonna sound horrible. This is a true story. I ain't never really been rich enough to be a sugar daddy. But I done sprinkle some Splendor on some folks. I done sprinkled some Equate. I done sprinkled a little bit. I done sprinkled a little bit of I done sprinkled some aspartame. I ain't got no sugar. But I done sprinkled some I done sprinkled a packet of dominoes on somebody from time to time, man. Now, I wouldn't describe it as a sugar daddy. I wouldn't describe that part of my life as having been a sugar daddy. But you know, I was generous at one point in time to a particular lady. I won't mention who, because you know, people moved on with their life. They moved on with their life. But I knew what it was, and she knew what it was, and so we knew what it was together. You know, and you know, back when I was single, when I was really single, you know, I guess technically I've done this a couple times. So hold on, y'all. This is a moment of self-reflection. I mean, I've never paid bills or, you know, sponsored a lifestyle or anything like that. I've never done that. But, you know, if I came into town, I'd be like, hey, what you doing? You know what I'm saying? And, you know, she wasn't doing nothing, then we would go do some stuff together that I paid for. And then, you know, sometimes that activity was, y'all see me struggling with my glasses, high value men, sometimes I have to adjust their eyewear. You know, sometimes that was, hey, you know, come through and see what I got for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it was, you know, that's what it was. And, you know, I was single and she was, you know, whatever she was, whatever her relationship status was, that wasn't for me to judge. She was single when she was with me. Horrible. She was single when she was with me. So, you know, I just had to keep my voice down. I just had to keep my voice down to make sure, you know, hey, look, I didn't have enough sugar to be talking loud. So when her phone rang, I had to take it down a notch. I didn't pay for the vocal package. I didn't. AJ, I did not pay for the vocal package, sir. Oh my goodness. Y'all bear with me. Oh my goodness. I didn't pay to have my voice heard. But nah, man, I wouldn't describe it as, you know, I wouldn't truly describe it that way, as a sugar daddy. But what I will say is that I sprinkled, you know, some packets. I had some Splenda, you know. Oh man, you know, it's always fun when they post this is gonna sound horrible. It's always fun when they post a man wearing stuff that you bought. Wearing stuff you bought them. I done been through some things, man. Oh man, shout out to the sugar daddies and the sugar mamas. Nah, I've never, like I said, I've never sponsored somebody's lifestyle, but you know, I did augment it, add a little bit of love on there on top every now and then. And, you know, I think in order to be a sugar daddy, also to some degree, you got to have more of a monetary exchange happening there. And I have never done that, you know, although, like I said, I have been generous, you know, and I won't go into all the details because once again, people done moved on with their life. They very happy. They're well cared for now, I'm sure. So shout out to them and where they're at. But yeah, man, you got to pay a little bit more if you want to talk loud when they get that phone call. Well, Chris, being single just means that I was really single. Like I wasn't dating anybody regularly, you know, even in an uncommitted fashion. I was just really just bouncing around from pillar to post. That's what I mean when I said single. Oh my goodness, yeah, you got to pay extra if you want to talk around the cell phone. You know what I'm saying? See, first off, if you really are a sugar daddy, you're gonna buy her another cell phone that she talks to you on. That way you can talk loud around the burner phone, but you can't talk loud. You know, a Chico stick. Yes, yes, Lisa. That's what it was. I was out here sprinkling I was out here sprinkling nerd candy on people. Chico sticks. Oh my goodness, man. Why did I say gasoline draws? Oh my goodness. Let's see here. So what's the age limit for both? How old or young do you have to be a sugar or anything? Nah, I mean, typically sugar babies are younger women, right? Sugar babies are younger people, depending on that situation. You could be a guy being out with a sugar baby, and being a sugar baby, and a sugar mama, a sugar daddy. You don't age out of that. You just age into that. You just keep getting older and older and older. Shout out to all the old men, man. Shout out to all them old men giving them young girls hugs and putting money in their hand. Y'all gotta. I will say this, being messy tonight. You gotta watch out for that guy, that older man who's an uncle. He's an uncle. He's like, that's my uncle. Does he know he's just your uncle? Does he know? Does he just know that's just your uncle? That go back to like Bernice's talking about her little friend. Yeah, is that one of your little friends? Does he know? Yeah, man, it's different, man. When she posts that picture of them together in love, wearing all the stuff you bought her. Let me move on. So I hope that explains that well enough for that person who asked that question. Thank you, Ashley, for a great question. Thank you. I'm just saying, I just that's a little bit. I ain't had no sugar, but a little bit of coffee mate, maybe a little cream. Okay, well that's not even a real question. Now let's move on. And so this I will answer this question, but I'm gonna reword it because this question is way out there. This question is about basically different things you could do in the bedroom and how some of those things could be perceived as giving you or could be perceived as you demonstrating a different sexual orientation. And I'll say this. I think that whatever goes on in the bedroom between two people is their business. I believe that firmly. Hey, that's your business. Hey, that's your business. Now, if you make it my business, then I'll give you my opinion as informed by my worldview as a Christian. So if you want my opinion as a Christian about what you do in your bedroom with whoever you do it with, then I'll tell you that. But as far as me as a podcaster, whatever goes on in your bedroom goes on in your bedroom. That's your business. And so if you and your partner do some things that other people might not be comfortable with, that's y'all's business. That's your business. I read somewhere in the Bible that it says the bedroom is not defiled. So the bed is not defiled. Do what you want to do with your spouse. Do it. Have fun. Do it multiple times. Do it multiple times. Do it as often as you can pay for. Do it as often as you can pay for, as much as you can afford. Y'all go and have some fun. So whatever other people wouldn't be comfortable with, that y'all are comfortable with, y'all go and do it. Do it as often as you can pay for it. Let's move on to the next question. Oh my goodness. Rich. Let's see here. Now this is a funny. It put it as a serious question, but it's a funny question. I'll answer it though. As a high value man, why do I have to travel to Costa Rica? I already know where this is going. Shout out to the passport bros. Why do I have to travel to Costa Rica or the DR and Bangkok to find a respectful woman? How do we help these women relearn their place in a man's household? See, why y'all like that, man? Why y'all like that, man?
You see how they do us? You see how they did that?
Why y'all putting me out here like this tonight?
Yesterday's price is not today's price.
I will say this seriously, and this is me being serious. Hope, what's going on, fam? Yeah. Felicia, salt brings more flavor. See, I tried to be a salt daddy, but she kept complaining about her blood pressure. She's talking about my feet swelling. I'm having a good time, but my feet and ankles are swelling. I need to take a water pill when you leave. Oh man, if y'all missed that, y'all have to go back and hear me answer the question about whether or not I've ever been a sugar daddy. Oh my goodness, man. High value men have to assume a lot of different roles in the lives of women. I will say this about this question about women and being going out off the world to, in other parts of the world to find women. And I'm gonna say this as a black man. As a black man whose family was at one point in time slaves in this country, that's the kind of black man I am. And I'm gonna say this as a black man. There is nothing better to me than a black American woman whose family has a similar lineage as mine, as having come from freed slaves, former slaves, right? Like, I love black women. And I'm not saying that at the expense of other women, but I'm just saying that at the praise of black women. I love melanin. I love the American version of melanin. I'm sorry, another woman in another part of the world, she may be beautiful, she may be a wonderful soul, but she cannot do nothing for me. She can't do nothing for Jamison Smallwood, and she can't do nothing for Jamison Samuels either. Sorry.
Yesterday's price is not today's price.
And so I think, man, find you somebody who you can get along with, find you somebody who understands you're crazy. They like a little bit of your crazy. You like a little bit of their crazy. You understand they're crazy, and y'all go and make some happiness together as best you can. You know, this idea that you gotta leave the country to go find somebody. I'm sorry, man. You just engaging in prostitution, sir. I'm sorry. You just engaging in prostitution. And I gotta say something for these women. If your man is flying you out the country to go get cheap plastic surgery, that's a form of prostitution too. I'm sorry, but what you normally do, you go get the guy who's got you in the friend that you got in the friend zone to fly you down to not Costa Rica, but down to Colombia. That's where everybody's going now to go get their cheap plastic surgery, because you can't do nothing physical for a couple of weeks, and you need to be around a man who's gonna see all that swelling go down and not gonna get none. So you need. You just need to be around somebody who's going to be like, he'll hold the camera and take all those before and after pictures for you, but you ain't going to give him no play. This is horrible. This is horrible. This is not a serious question. So, I am not reading this. I am not reading this question. Thank you so much. Matter of fact, we are not doing that. There's levels to my misogyny, and I'm not doing that tonight. What is your? So here's the question. Why does it seem? And this is a really interesting question. I'm going to speak to this because I want to have a serious answer. Why does it seem like there are large groups of men who only have close relationships with men, only care about the well-being of men, and really don't want to be around women, but they aren't gay? They're not a member of the LGBTQIA plus community. And these guys are likely super homophobic, right? And they want to spend all their time around other men. Now, this was an interesting question. Now, there's a lot of like presuppositions in this question. The first thing I would ask the person who asked this question, Shirley, is why is it that when men congregate together and enjoy each other's company and fellowship and brotherhood, why is it that this is even a question about? There's even a question about why men do this. Men enjoy each other's company. I never forget, I was asked, by my girlfriend, as I was talking to my neighbor and just hanging out with my neighbor, I go over to talk to him, his buddies. We just sit around and talk for hours and have a couple drinks and laughs and then I come back home and she's like, I can't believe y'all can just do that as men. Like, y'all can just hang around each other and there not be any issues. And I'll be honest, the only time we have issues as men, typically with other men, and this is gonna sound harsh, but it's true, it's when those men are raised, feminized by other women. That's when we typically have trouble with those types, with other men in the circle. And so for me, the question I have is like, well, why is it that a group of men is the idea of men enjoying each other's company bothering women? Now I can't speak to the homophobia part. I don't know what that means. I've never, experienced being around a group of men who were quote unquote, raging, homophobes. I have definitely heard homophobic things said by people, men and women. But I haven't, seen a group of men that I would identify with, for instance, that I'm a part of that's galvanized and by how homophobic we are, quote unquote. I wouldn't say that at all. And this is where I come back to women. I turn the question back around to the woman who asked this, possibly if there's a woman who asked this question. Why don't we say the same thing about women? Women go on trips together. Women go down to Jamaica and have a man who they've never met rub clay on them to keep the mosquitoes off of them, and they still come back bit up with mosquito bites, or at least that's what they tell us bit them on their neck is a mosquito. They have birthday dinners together. They plan all this stuff out. We don't ever say anything about them. And those women are very vocal about how they feel about men and how men ain't no good and men aren't the best and they can't find a good man. They're very vocal about how they feel about men and how negative their opinions oftentimes are about men. But we never question women and say that they're somehow conspiring or why do they enjoy each other's company? And we never say that. If anything, we're surprised that they endured each other's company and they didn't tear up their friendship as a result of it. Because, you know, we know that women fall out with each other. You know, even men do this too, but it seems like a thing. It seems to be a thing with women falling out with each other. So all these same questions I would ask about women and their groups of friends and women friends and girlfriends, and they go work out together. They go and go to the gym and sweat together. We don't say any of the stuff that we would never even have an issue with that. So my question then becomes, why is it that when men do it, you've got a problem with it? And I think one of the things that we have to, the original question, Felicia, that's a good question. The original question is, why does it seem like there are large groups of men who only have close relationships with men, only care about the well-being of men, and really don't want to be around women, but aren't gay? And these guys are likely super homophobic. That's somebody threw that in there. I'm not going to ascribe that to groups of men who enjoy each other's company. But they threw that in, the questioner threw that in, and then they said they want to spend all their time around men. And I don't understand. I've never met a man who wasn't, I'll put it this way, I've never met a man who presents himself as a straight man who wouldn't enjoy the company of a beautiful woman that he could get along with. And so, like I said, these questions don't get asked of women who gather and congregate together. So why would we ask this question of men? And that's kind of my whole thing. It's like, and in all seriousness, I have fun playing up, being Jamison Samuels and the moniker and stuff. But one of the things that's really sad, and one of the reasons why I am going to stop podcasting, is because a lot of the content that works on social media is so adversarial. It's like, oh man, it's men against women, women against men, and it's just not that way. You know, like, hey, I'm not bothered that women go and celebrate their birthday for a whole month. I ain't bothered by that. Don't be bothered when me and the fellas go out and enjoy each other's company, have friends, have a time as friends together and fellowship. Like, why is that bothering you? Like, these are things that we just need to leave each other alone about. And at the end of the day, because none of that stuff that other people are doing is going to help you have a better relationship. Hope. I'm just saying, it's true. They go down to Jamaica. They spend all their time posting on social media, talking about consent and and no means no. And they run all the way down to Jamaica to find that one little cove where they do the rafts at, and they let them Jamaican men smear them down with all types of river clay that don't keep the mosquitoes off. I'm sorry. It's just, I'm just tired of the gender war stuff. Like, and I'm not, bashing the person asked the question. I just don't connect with that sentiment. Like, I think that men should have spaces where they feel comfortable with each other. I think men should have spaces where they are interacting respectfully with women. And I think men should have spaces where they can go off in solitude if they want to and retract from the world a little bit to recenter and do their thing. But this idea that somehow, men can't gather in fellowship and enjoy each other's company, I'm sorry. I don't think men should use the presence of other men to be misogynistic towards women or to even foster homophobia. I don't think that's a good thing either, right? But this idea that somehow there's got to be something nefarious going on there and men have to be analyzed in some way. I just, look, man, look, I'm just saying, look, everybody don't go down and get the raft experience for the same reasons. I'm just saying, I got questions. Cause like when they be taking the pictures, Hope, on social media, and they got their butt cheeks where somebody done grabbed them with the clay, who did that? And you can't say it's your homegirl unless you got hands the size of mine. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. If her hands is my size, then okay, maybe they are. In 2023, maybe they are the size of my hands. Oh my goodness, man. Oh my goodness. The raft experience, man. Shout out to it, man. I think it's in all seriousness, like here, Jada says, I love it when my guy friend goes to get with his buddies. I love the time to myself. That's huge. That's huge. Everybody needs their space. Everybody needs their space, everybody needs their space. I love my space that I get afforded when I have it, and I take it, and I don't begrudge it, because I'm a sit next to you kind of boyfriend. But at the same time, when I'm outside grilling on the grill and I sit on my little deck bench that I built, and I have a cold beer in my hand or a cold cider or whatever, and I'm sitting out there casually enjoying the day, and I'm leaving you in the house or wherever you at, I ain't looking for you. Don't come looking for me. Just leave. I got my space out here. Now, if you come in my space, I'm gonna welcome you in my space. But I do plenty of things to intentionally just give myself that clear, quiet silence of just me in my own space. That's yard work. That's cooking on the grill. That's taking care of some errands, running some errands that I could have, had somebody drop off at the house. I go do it myself. There's a number of reasons that you should spend some time apart and enjoy that. And that happens for men sometimes in their groups that they gather with. So, yes. Thank you, Hope. I'm glad you can't speak to that part. I'm glad you can't speak to that part about how those handprints got back there. That's all I'm going to say. Let me go back up and scroll up here a little bit. Man, Jamaica's a fun place. I've been to Jamaica. Plan on going back at some point, but ain't nobody gonna be slathering nobody down with no clay except for me. I'm just saying, I'm gonna be the one slathering people down with clay, because I'm just saying. But that's not the same thing as only want to be around men, enjoying hanging out is different. Yeah, I don't even know who this is. I don't even know who this group of people, is that they're talking about. Like, and I'm not saying they don't exist. I just don't know this group of people who only want to hang around men and they don't like hanging around women. Like, I know routinely when I go to cookouts and stuff like that, the men just congregate together. The men go and find each other, It happens. I mean, it just happens. Now, like I said, but I don't know what this group of people is that this person's talking about. So, Felicia says, enjoying hanging out is different. I would question what happened, especially if they're not gay and not wanting to be around women. That's a good point. Hope, I don't know how they got there. I don't know how they got there. They may have done it themselves. They may have used their hand to put two palms straight up on their backside themselves. Cause see, you gotta look at which way the hands are turned. If she did it herself, there's only one way those hands can be turned. If somebody else did it with size 17 hands, your girl might have went to Jamaica and got her groove back because you weren't in there practicing how to scramble the eggs in the bed. Let's move on. She likes some Jamaican eggs a lot. The Jamaicans leave her eggs wet the way that the way she likes it. Oh my goodness, man. Oh my goodness. So this thing has a link in it. I'm gonna have to let me click this link and see if this link is appropriate to show you guys before I go on. Oh my goodness, man. Y'all are hanging in there with me. We're almost done, y'all. I got a couple more questions, then I'm gonna wrap up with another topic and we're out of here, man. Y'all have been tuned into, man, the last episode that I'm filling in as Jamison Samuels for the regular co-host Jamison Smallwood. Yep, I'm filling in as Jamison Samuels. I have enjoyed putting on a blazer and a business shirt. This is my, I've been told that this is my I date white women look. That's what I've been told. I have neither confirmed nor denied that, but I think I just told y'all on the podcast how I felt about my own women, and so I'm cool with that. Let me see. This is not loading. This reel is not loading, so maybe I should accept it as a sign to not try to get it to load either. So I don't know why this reel isn't loading. It may not even exist anymore. Anyway, maybe if I get that load, I'll come back to that question. Oh man. So much stuff to talk about. Next to last question number 13 of 14. Now this is a good question. I'm glad I saved this question for last, or for near last. What are good qualities that a woman should look for in a man when she's dating for marriage. This is up my alley. I think I know something about this. I'm 36 years old, divorced, no children. I don't want to make the same mistakes again. Well, I think you have to be honest, first and foremost, about, as a divorcee especially, about why did you get married to begin with? What was it, this is serious advice, what was it that led to your decision to marry the particular person that you married? And I know for me, when I talk about myself, my past marriage and subsequent divorce was a direct result of my ego and my validation seeking. And I went to therapy and have come away with that conclusion. If you're still blaming your ex for you and your subsequent divorce from your ex, then in my opinion, and this is my opinion, you don't have to take it, you have not done the work Alexis to heal. You just haven't. You have to own your decision making. You have to own the people that you allow into and out of your life. And you have to explore your motives and motivations behind the decision that you made. And those can be noble motivations, right? I don't think ego and validation seeking on my part were noble motives. But at the same time, having the desire to want to be married, having the desire to want to stay in social lockstep with my contemporaries who were getting married and making and developing families and building families with each other, I think those are reasonable desires to have. But my validation seeking, my ego, my thinking I could do it better and different, I think those are things that contributed to not taking the time to get to know the person that I ended up marrying, not taking the time to recognize, as a result, the red flags that person presented that I would have found issues with if I wasn't trying to prove a point to this imaginary social crowd that I was, fantasizing in my head who needed to be a part of my wedding, right? And then too, not having enough humility to admit that I had made a mistake, right? Even after the ring had been exchanged and given and blah, 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 and we hadn't been married, but there were still red flags that began to pop up along the journey, I should have just paused and said, you know what? Hey, this isn't it. We don't have to break up, but we need to take time to get to know each other. And then if that leads to a breakup, hey, you keep the ring. I learned from that mistake I made, financially speaking, but we'll come back to the table and regroup here, right? I didn't do that. Chris, be good, fam. Didn't do that, and so that's on me. And so I think the first thing you got to do for the person who asked this question is you've got to take the time to figure out exactly what it is that was your motivation behind you getting married. And that's a journey in therapy. That's a journey in self-reflection. And I'm talking about real therapy. And I say this with all seriousness and candor. You can't do this through the popularized stuff you see on Twitter and social media and TikTok. Carry your ass to a therapist and sit down and begin to do the work. That's the first step. Then you can come back and start saying, okay, what do I need to look for in a man who's trying to marry and who if you're dating for marriage? Well, I think obviously, date somebody first and foremost you're attracted to, and I'm talking about in all the ways that you would define your level of attractiveness to or attractedness to somebody, if that's the right word. Hey, does he check your boxes? Does he make the income that you're looking for? Does he have the right height? Does he have the complexion? Just whatever your story is there, right? Whatever your particular characteristics are, you need to look for those things. But then when you start talking about if you're dating for marriage, there's two things I'm gonna try to share with you, and then I'll get the comments. I see these big comments here. The first thing I would say is, why is he building in his life, right? What is he, the things that he's building, whether he's, purchasing a home or, he's got his own home and he's got a claim on his job and he's building his career. So why is he building? Is he building because he is trying to scratch his own ego as a man? He wants to be, seen as a successful man and idolized by, a bunch of women? Or is he building his life so that he can give a quality partnership and marriage to the right person when he finds her, right? So why is he building? Why is he building, and what is he building for? Also, is he looking for marriage, right? Is he looking for marriage? I think men who are looking for marriage are vocal about looking for marriage. A man who is serious and intentional in every other aspect of his life. He's successful. He's attractive. He maintains himself. He looks the way you want him to look. All them boxes are checked. And then when you get down to talking about, hey, well, what are we doing and what do we spend this time together? He don't know what it is. He ain't sure about what he want, and he likes you, but he don't know, if he's ready for that step. That's complete nonsense. He knows what his checkbox is that needs to be checked in order for him to take that next step and pursue marriage. And men who are serious and focused, and like I said, in every other way of their life, when they get to you and they don't have that same level of focus and assuredness, then I think you've got a problem there. And I would run from that. That's a red flag. Also, too, I'm a firm believer in looking for people who are commitment focused. I'm not talking about just staying married to stay married, but people who want to solve problems with you. Does he want to solve problems with you? Can y'all solve problems together? Can you solve problems together? And I ain't talking about just what y'all want to eat, even though that can be a microcosm of it, but can you really tackle projects together and solve problems together? Does he respect your opinion about things? I know that in my current relationship, I had this person be a part of a lot of major life decisions that I was making. Because at the end of the day, if I'm with this person and I'm dating for marriage and she's dating for marriage, then she needs to be a part of certain conversations. Even if she doesn't prove to be my wife and I don't prove to be her husband, it's still good to see what type of judgment does she have? What type of thought process does she bring to the table? How is she thinking about the world, and how will she handle this decision? And so I think that's the same question that I would tell this poster here to approach their dating life with. When you talk to him, what kind of advice does he give you? And I'm not talking about just like, the platonic stuff. I'm talking about like deep stuff like, hey, I got my 401k. I need to rebalance it. Like, what do you have any stocks that you would recommend? I'm with Fidelity. I'm with Vanguard, blah, 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 blah. What kind of conversations are y'all having? And if you can't have deep, intelligent conversations in the areas of your life that are impacted by these things that you're talking about, then is that really the person you want to share your life with? Is that the person you want to share your life with? And I'm not saying people can't be exposed to things, but what I'm saying is at some point, if you're serious about somebody, then you need to have people who are serious about your life and the things in your life. And that's a conversation you got to bring them into. The biblical perspective that I tend to go with is, we always hear about Ruth and Boaz. And Boaz being, always the archetypal husband that people claim they want their Boaz. But there's some very key things that happen in the courtship of Ruth and Boaz that you have to pay attention to. Ruth listened to Boaz. Boaz had practical, grounded, culturally specific, but appropriate advice for Ruth. Boaz was a wise man. He brought perspective to the table that Ruth listened to and valued. And Ruth valued and listened to his perspective and advice. So when it came time for them to quote unquote get married, there was nothing there other than, all right, well, I've already been following this man. I've already been leading this woman. I've already been giving her my advice and perspective and protection and counsel and provision. Then there's nothing left to do but to go on and get married. So, men who are marriage minded, they operate as husbands to the degree that you allow them to. Ooh, that's good there. Ooh. Men who are marriage minded operate as your husband to the degree that you allow them to. If you are dating a man and you're trying to beg him to be your husband, sis, he is not it. Let me read some of these comments here that I'm just trying to tell them, man. At the end of the day, I've been a husband. Let me talk my talk for a second. Hold on. I've been a husband. You know what I'm saying? She just had to realize it. You hear what I'm saying? She had to realize, oh, that man's a husband. That man's my husband. I've been a husband. She just had to realize it. And I'm not saying that I'm every woman's husband. Hear me well. But if I'm dating you and you're dating me, I got to realize you're my wife and you got to realize I'm your husband and we need to go and make this thing happen. But if we haven't reached that point because you don't trust my decision making, I don't trust your decision making, I don't trust your counsel, you don't trust my counsel, then what the heck are we doing other than scrambling eggs in the bedroom together? And and the thing is, you can always find somebody else to scramble eggs, but what you can't do is find somebody who's going to wipe your nose when you're sick. You can't find somebody who's going to make sure that you have what you need in your darkest and deepest hole that you find yourself in. What you're not going to do is find somebody who'll get into the trench with you, and when life presents you with hard challenges, and stay there with you and use their means and solutions to help you navigate at your pace. Because sometimes you can solve the problem for that person because you bring that to the table. You have the heart to solve it for them, but they got to accept the solution at their pace. So all of that stuff is very complicated in terms of, but it's simple at the same time. What is that person doing to show you that they're your husband? You know, I ain't talking about paying for stuff, even though that's a part of it. I ain't talking about, oh, he plans great dates, even though that's a part of it. I ain't talking about all of that. I'm talking about, hey man, when you have a bad day at work, what is his response to you? When you tell him about, hey, I'm looking to advance in my career, what kind of counsel and wisdom can he provide you? Does he look out for your well-being? Hey, that friend you with, she ain't no good for you. She's taking advantage of you. Yeah, I know you're going to get mad at me for saying it, and I'm not trying to overstep, but at the same time, think about what you're doing there with that situation. She might not receive it in the moment, but you said it as a potential husband. Couple weeks go on, maybe a couple months go on, she might come back to you and say, you know what, Jamison, I think you were right about so-and-so. Okay, cool. Well, you reached that point, conclusion in your own time, but I saw this and, I was worried about it, but, I didn't want to overstep and be out of pocket, blah, 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 blah. Hey, man, Jamison, that person ain't no good for you. Okay? Brutal advice, brutal honesty. And then if that person is saying these things because they love and care about you, then you begin to see like, okay, this is somebody that I can possibly do this thing called life with. But yeah, so that's my advice there. Let me go back and read some stuff here. Let's see here. Lisa says each person's unique qualities will manifest in different ways, both in appearance and experience. The heart being intuitional, recognizes and craves what it requires. Therefore, it is crucial to trust your inner guide and follow its direction. The notion that one solution or approach suits everyone is misguided, as the needs and preferences of individuals vary greatly. Let me see here. Ultimately, embracing the understanding that personal qualities and paths are diverse allows for a more inclusive and fulfilling journey. And yep, I think that's deep. Bernicia says he's got to be 6 feet tall, 6 feet 6 inches tall. You got to be a billionaire. Good for you, Bernicia. I agree. Felicia says again, I agree. Self-awareness is ground zero. Understanding oneself is priority over attributes of others. If you get clarity there, you can move forward, informed and making the right decisions. I wonder if that's the case if someone, and this is from Natasha, I wonder if this is the case if someone has been married and divorced. I know some people are hesitant to marry again. So is it you or is it the partner? I will say this too, and that's a good point. As I move on to our next question, because I've spent some time here, but I do think this is something we have to make sure we address. You need therapy, even if you haven't been married and you haven't been through a divorce. We go through, and this is, I know this may not be popular in 2023 in our culture, but we go through divorces in the form of breakups all the time. You'll meet people, and I'm not gonna say men or women, but you'll just meet people who they're like, yeah, I've never been married before, but I'm hoping to get married. And then you look at their track record, you've been in like 25 relationships. Like, I ain't talking about, I'm not talking about body count. We talk about body count from a sexual perspective all the time, and that's nonsense. I'm talking about like what's your relationship body count look like? How many times have you entered a relationship and then posted on social media a couple of weeks later, a couple months later, that you're in a season of healing, or that you can't find a good woman? How often have you gone into relationship after relationship after relationship after relationship after relationship after relationship after relationship, and then now you out here talking about you want to meet somebody and marry him? Like, you need to do the work on yourself based on all those past relationships you've been in. Because there's reasons why you got into those relationships. There was something you were seeking in those relationships. And how is it that that person that you're going to try to meet, who's supposedly a wife or a future husband or a spouse, how is that person, what's that person getting with you with all that trauma and baggage that you've been carrying around, right? Like, I think it's wrong of us to experience all that trauma and then just pretend it gets wiped away because I met somebody new. No, you're still, the only thing that's consistent in every relationship you're in is you. So you got to do the work. And so I know that the question was about what to look for in men, and I kind of gave you some things to look for in men. Why is he building? Not just what is he building, but why is he building? If he's intentional about everything else in his life, how does he treat you? Does he talk about candidly about his goal to be married? Does he talk about his desire to be married? Why does he want to be married, right? Is he just being married because wants to be married because it's an ego's, check box for him? It's valid. He's validation seeking, or does he really want to build family and to build a committed relationship, be in a committed relationship? Maybe he's got a religious perspective on marriage that is driving him to want to be married, right? There's a number of things there, right? Does he act like your husband even though he's not your husband? And I'm not talking about being controlling and manipulative. That's not being a husband. I'm talking about, does he look out for your well-being as if he's going to be in your life forever, right? Is he thinking long-term with you? Is he making long-term plans or long-term course corrections with you that are going to have an impact on your well-being, right? And so can you guys have real conversations about things that are germane to your life? Does he give you good advice as showing that he cares about you? Or does he just sit there and listen to you talk and then move on to the next thing because he's trying to get you back in bed, right? To scramble more eggs. What is his treatment of you? And so I think once you check off the stuff about, his income, does he have his finances together, or is he striving to have his finances together? Maybe even ask him what kind of family he comes from, right? What's his relationship like with his mother? What's his relationship like with his father? What's his relationship like with his brothers and sisters if he's got siblings, right? These are all things that I think are part of the equation of finding somebody. But I think more so that, like I said, than looking for him, you got to make sure that you've done the work on yourself. And I think that's always a good place to start. All right, here's my last question. Apparently Jesus, and I ain't talking about my friend Jesus. Apparently Jesus has come by and blessed this chat and says, in this last silly question for the night, how can a woman be a gold digger if he ain't got no gold? How can a woman
Yesterday's price
be a gold digger?
It's not today's price.
How can a woman be a gold digger if he ain't got no gold? All right. This is what I'm going to say to this, and I'm done for the night. Other than maybe playing this one little video and having some more fun for another few minutes before I log off, because this is the last time you're going to see Jamison Samuels. I hope you guys appreciate me wearing my suit that suggests that I may date white women. Right? I hope y'all appreciate that. How can you be a gold digger if he ain't got no gold? Let me say this. Successful women, financially speaking, high income earning women, financially speaking, you're going to have a hard time finding a man who out earns you typically, unless you date in your same career circle and stuff like that, right? Like, okay, if I'm making, $200,000 a year as a woman, you're going to have a hard time finding a man who makes that kind of money. Statistically speaking, the median household income in America roughly is about $50,000 a year. And the median household income for black folk is roughly about 42, depending on where you look at it. I don't know what the stat is today, but it's like 42,000. So we're below, our average income is below the nation's average income, even with it factoring our average income, our income as black folk into it. Hashtag we need reparations, right? So you're going to have a hard time finding a man who can, you know, sprinkle some Splenda on you, sprinkle some Equate on you, right? To be a sugar, to have some gold for you to dig. But let's not pretend that some woman who's making a more average income, $30,000, $40,000 a year, $50,000 a year, where that she couldn't appreciate a man who's generous to her, who makes $50,000, $60,000, even $50,000. He gives her a stipend every month to go get her hair and nails done, or to at least help get her hair and nails, her hair and nails done. He picks up the check when they go out to dinner. He goes and gives her money to get her brakes fixed on her car. He gives her money to put new tires on her car. You telling me that man ain't presenting a benefits package that woman who's making $50,000, $30,000, $40,000 a year can't appreciate? And so I think we oftentimes confuse gold digging with like the most extreme examples, you know, getting flued out and he's paying for your penthouse and your Mercedes Benz or your BMW every month. But there's a lot of women who would love to have a man who comes along and buys them lunch routinely on Friday. Or pays to get those nails done, you know what I'm saying? Who pays for that facial that she gets every now and then, right? Like, there's a lot of things that a generous man can do for an insincere woman that is still gold, right? Just because you ain't got the minds of Solomon as a man, that doesn't mean that you ain't got you ain't got a little bit of that Delonico gold. you ain't got some gold, right? You know that, and I think people underestimate that people, if they're disingenuous, they're not, you know, scrupulous, that they would take advantage of a man who is in that situation, right? I mean, if you flip this around, you might not be the best at scrambling eggs in the bedroom, but he'll still come by and get breakfast every now and then. You hear what I'm saying? So just because you may not be the world beater in some ways for things that he might want, but he'll still accept it from you if he's disingenuous, right? He'll still accept it from you. So, yeah, man, people are funny, man. Let's see here. In situations, this is Lisa again. In situations where one person does not possess significant wealth or resources, it is still possible for someone to exhibit gold digging behavior. Exactly. This might involve seeking advantages such as financial stability, access to connections, or even emotional support. The motivation behind being a gold digger is not limited solely to the presence of literal gold, but rather a desire for personal gain or benefits from the other person, whatever form they may take. Literal gold, i.e. wealth, right? I mean, that's exactly what we're talking about, man. That's a great example. Great example. Don't let people trick you out of your stuff as men and women, right? At the end of the day, you gotta be, and this is where relationships are tough. And I'm just being honest and I'm telling the truth. When you start mixing material means into a relationship, you can't do that with everybody. You just can't. You can't play that game with everybody. Because at the end of the day, you're beginning to trade real tangible assets for an ethereal return. And that's a very bad place to be. Love and affection, all that stuff, when men say, what do you bring to the table, ladies? I'm sorry, you got to have some stuff to bring to the table. I'm sorry. You might not have to come and pay my mortgage or help me pay the mortgage or help me pay my bills, but you got to bring something to the table, man. You got to bring something to the table. You know, and I joke about the whole cooking thing because I'm a world-class fake chef, and I've cooked for hundreds of thousands of people on YouTube, right? But at the end of the day, learn you a few recipes. Learn how to cook your man a hot meal that tastes decent. It ain't even got to be the most exquisite meal, but learn how to cook something. Like the idea that this man has to, and this is where I will get into my Kevin Samuels, aka Jamison Samuels, back for a second. And I'm not really being serious, but then again, I am. Learn something. You literally, like, why would you make a list as a woman and say, I want my man to be this tall. He's got to have this type of endowment. He's got to, make this kind of money. He's got to live in this neighborhood and drive this kind of car. He's got to be able to do these things for me. Why would you make this long list of all the stuff that he's got to bring to the table, and then you won't even go and learn how to cook a spaghetti dinner? You won't even go learn how to boil pasta and season it and make a little sauce for it. You won't even learn this. You won't even go learn how to heat up some rolls that you get from the freezer section at Publix. Like, you won't even learn how to cook a steak. Like, what man don't like steak? I know there are some men who don't, but what I'm saying is, the stereotypical things that your man like, why wouldn't you go and learn how to cook them things? You don't want to go in the kitchen and figure out how to syrup a steak? You don't know how to bake a potato? You can't boil some broccoli and steam some broccoli? Shout out to one to make it a nice broccoli. You don't want to learn the basic things that your man requires for his life and his subsistence? You don't want to show what you can do? But you're talking about, he's got to have all this stuff on this list, right? It's a really short-sighted view of the relationship. And one thing I will say in seriousness, and I mean this for myself as much as anybody else, don't let laziness be the reason that you lose good people in your life. Don't let laziness be the reason you lose good people in your life. There's a guy who I know personally doing a whole YouTube channel showing you how to cook. Go watch that YouTube channel, Jamison Presents. This is how I cook on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button, turn on them notifications, and go learn a few recipes. Go learn how to make that man, how to make that man an old-fashioned cocktail. I'm not talking about an old-fashioned cocktail like a type of cocktail. I'm talking about the recipe, the old-fashioned. Go learn how to make an old-fashioned for that man. Go learn how to pour that man his scotch or his bourbon. Go learn what a cigar humidor is about. Come on, somebody. Like, y'all don't make me turn into a Sunday school teacher here. Go learn some stuff about men. Go learn what relative humidity he keeps his cigars at. Go check his humidor and take the crusty humidifier pack out and throw that out and put a new one in and let them know, hey boo, I updated your I took that pack out of your humidor so that your cigars wouldn't get stale. Learn some stuff about your man. And learn how to make his life easier, right? Learn how to make his life easier. Because once again, you had this long list. He got to do this. He got to do this. He got to make this. He got to do the blah, 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 blah. He got to be able to take you. He got to be able to pay for you to go to Jamaica so somebody else can put their hands on you. Learn something about your man. Learn something about your man. And I feel the same way. And I keep that same energy for men. Learn something about your woman. Because I can see the comments over here just going crazy. Learn something about your woman. Learn the stuff about what she likes. Learn about her preferences. Hey, she don't like the towels that have lint on them. She don't like your towels because they get linty. Okay, well, where do you buy your towels from? So I can have some fresh towels here at the house that you like, that came from the place that you get your towels from. Understand some things about your woman. Hey, man, she don't like the fragrant soaps. She likes this regular bar of soap for her skin because she don't want all them fragrances and them chemicals in the soap. Learn some stuff about your woman. Hey, man, she likes meat, sauce, and cheese recipes. Learn how to make her some spaghetti. Learn how to make her baked spaghetti. Learn how to make her lasagna. Learn how to make some stuff, man. Hey, when she asks you what's for dinner on Friday, know some restaurants that you've been to without her so that you can take her to some of them places. Y'all sitting there both on Google trying to read reviews. I don't know, boo. This place might be good. Go learn some stuff about your city and show her your city. Show her the time of her life in your city. Hey, let me take you to one of my spots. This place has great ceviche. What's ceviche? Well, come with me and I'll show you what ceviche is. This place down the street has a good tartare. Let me take you and let you experience that tartare. This place has great elk. You never had elk before? Well, come with me. You can have some elk tonight. Hey, you want to have a hashtag steak dinner? You want some duck? You've never had duck breast? Let me take you to a place that does amazing duck. You gotta learn some stuff about your woman and then expose her to those things and show her that you know those things. But the problem is, in the gender war that's so crazy, is we focus on everybody else and what they're not doing instead of saying, hey, what can I do? What can I do? Learn some stuff about your man. Learn some stuff about your man. Take care of your man. Learn some stuff about your woman. And you'll be all right. Yeah, because women, we like to pretend like as men that women want so much. But then what are you bringing to the table, man? What are you bringing to the table? Help her show her a compelling picture. Be the ripple in her pond, right? Man, laziness is the thing that kills a lot of relationships, man. You won't even go that far, man. Exactly. Keep setting pillowcases to help her protect her hair. Bingo, man. You gotta learn some stuff about women, man. You gotta learn some stuff about women. Some of y'all got the wrong toilet paper at your house right now. And you talking about you want a high value woman. You got the wrong toilet paper at your house. Don't even know that there's different kinds of toilet paper. You ain't even got the right toilet paper at the house to have the kind of woman you talking about you want. You talking about you want a high value woman. You ain't got the right toilet paper, let alone the right job. You know, talking about what kind of woman you want. You see this woman on Instagram out here posting all these pictures, all these crazy restaurants she been going to, and then when she come to your house, you talking about you don't know what y'all gonna go eat tonight. What, bro? You ain't serious. You ain't serious. You know. And yes, and that's the other point too. Just be authentic in love. Put the effort out there. Be yourself, but also understand that, hey, man, this person needs your love, and so whatever you get that person, whatever you don't get that person, you're telling that person that that's what you think that they're worth in terms of the relationship. And so that's all I'm saying, man. You ain't gotta do any of the stuff I said do tonight. It's your business with how you want to live your life. But I suggest that you put some time into learning some stuff so that you can actually be a well-rounded, robust human being. Learn some things, man. Learn some things. Learn some stuff about your man. Learn some stuff about your woman. You know, I'm trying to scroll back up here gently, y'all. Let's see here. Let me see here. We talk about gold digging, literal wealth. Got that part. Hey, Brian, yes, you're not too late. We're still rocking, man. I'm gonna be on here for another probably 10 or 15 minutes at most. I don't know how y'all hanging in here with me, but shout out to y'all, man. The last episode is the send-off episode of Jamison Samuels. There is more to life than good sex. Bingo, says Chris. Yep. Laziness in their relationship is the main reason they fall apart. That's it, man. Man, get your behind on that treadmill and go walk. And I'm telling myself this, man. You know, you ain't just walking for you. You walking for your relationship, man. And that ain't to say you should feel pressure to do something you don't feel comfortable with. But think about what you're saying to your spouse if you're not trying to work on your weight. You're not trying to work on your health. You're not trying to work on something that they see you just neglecting. You know, like what are you telling that person, man, about your stewardship of yourself? Because at the end of the day, that person only gets in the relationship if they're being faithful and honest and trustworthy and authentic. They only get you. So what are you doing to make yourself the best you that you can be? You know, what are you doing to make yourself the best you that you can be? And how hard are you willing to do that? How hard are you willing to do that for? You know, because the thing is, as you get better, you become better for the relationship. And in theory, the relationship should get better, right? You know, so yeah, man. Women don't really want, women, we oftentimes as men, you know, like to popularize how much women want and women are after this money and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, some of y'all are. Some of y'all like a man who's well maintained in some ways, but you know, it ain't that hard, man. I never forget, I ain't gonna say who and I'm gonna say when, but you know, I never forget a brother I knew, he was he had got a fish on the hook, so to speak. He had a woman who was interested in him taking her out. And he comes to me telling me, hey, man, where can I go to take her out to a nice place? Now, don't get me wrong. Part of my content is recommending and telling people places to go around the city that I live in and try different things. But, bro, you should know this stuff ahead of time. A woman ain't the only excuse for you to go to a nice restaurant. Hello. Man, look, I didn't become Mr. #small bites because I had a date every time I went to these restaurants. I took myself to restaurants. Shout out to all the women taking themselves on dates. I did that plenty of times. I go on a Friday night, find a restaurant in my town that I want to go and try, carry my behind down there, go sit there and get a table for one, sit there and enjoy the ambiance, people watching, learning the menu, learning the decor, so that I know what kind of service they got, know what kind of vibe they got, so that when I do meet that person who I want to take someplace, I say, hey man, I got a great spot to take you to. And it is a great spot because I done vetted it out. But now y'all both sitting in a new restaurant because you ain't been no place. You ain't did nothing other than play Madden and play Xbox and play PlayStation. You ain't did nothing but play video games. And now this woman wants to go out to a nice restaurant and be showing a nice time. You don't even know how you look. You don't even know how you look in a blazer, bruh. Come on, man. I'm just real serious in terms of dating. Like, try harder. Just try harder, men. And women, y'all try harder too, but men, y'all try harder. You know, you don't even know if you look good in a blazer. You don't even know how to wear a blazer, man. Go find you, especially y'all slender brothers. Y'all ain't got no excuses to be dressing like bums. Go find you a real clothier, not some place that sells clothes. Go build you a relationship with that brother or that tailor or that woman who works there. Have them dress you. Help them help you look nice. Buy you some nice shirts and some nice stuff that fits. You don't gotta go buy 1,000 blazers, but go buy you some stuff that looks good on you and learn how to properly dress as a man, right? Right? I'm just saying, man, you gotta dress for the outcomes you want. I believe that. And women, and part of the thing is too, part of your charm as a man is creating an atmosphere for that woman to be in that she's going to enjoy. That's what dating is. It's creating this atmosphere that this woman's going to enjoy being in. That's a sampling of your life as a man. So learn the right cologne to wear. Don't keep going to that bottle of cologne you done had for 5 years. Go buy you something fresh and contemporary. Go to the cologne section of your department store and learn about cologne. Go try some different things. Go try some different things. You go smell the cologne. Don't go there talking about, well, what do you think smells good on me? No, you go figure out some stuff. And if you see a woman in there shopping for her significant other, you ask her opinion about some different things. Hey, man, what do you think is a good cologne to wear? And who knows? Who knows? Depending on how you operate, you might leave with a new friend. I'm just saying. But go learn some things about yourself, man, as a man. Same thing as a woman. Learn some stuff, man. Learn some stuff. I've been in a relationship with the same man for 20 plus years. Understanding what I don't need is equally important as him understanding what I need. Look, man. Look. You got to get to know people, man. You got to get to know yourself. We talk about self-awareness, and you got to get to know that person that you're with. And if you do those things, man, you're going to have better outcomes in your dating. Let me clarify, in a healthy, strong relationship, there you go. I'm going to be that person. I want to smell your heart first, then your cologne. That's a priority to me. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I get it. Your heart's important, man. But, she'll smell your heart. She'll at least come over and smell your heart if your neck smell right. I'm just saying. She'll take the time to get to know your heart if your neck smell right. Now if she get to know your heart and your neck don't smell right, then you better have an exceptionally smelling heart. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Now, in all seriousness, though, man, I love talking to my friends who have been married for a long time or been in a relationship for a long time because they bring a certain sensibility to the table. And I think that once again, social media being to blame, it kind of shapes how we see these narratives about love and relationships. It's like you go into the, you'd be surprised. You bump into some of these IG influencers and these women who are allegedly, living that lifestyle, and they be at some of the same places you do. You be at looking just as normal and regular, except for their augmented body parts. They be looking just as normal and regular as you. And these people ain't out here living this rock star lifestyle. They ain't out here doing all this crazy stuff. Ain't no telling what they had to go through to get that picture that you was idolizing on social media. Go live your life, find you somebody who you can learn their quirks, you learn some stuff about them, and just have a good time, man. Have a good time. But then also give that person grace, because that's one thing we don't talk nearly enough about in the gender war. Give each other grace, man. You don't make it 20 plus years with the same person without grace. You ain't gonna make it 20 months with the same person without some grace. You gotta give each other grace. Understand that, hey, that person ain't gonna be this fantasy that you come up with. This is a real living human being. They just very regular people. No matter how high of an opinion you got of yourself as a quote unquote high value man, you are just a regular person. Just a regular person. You might have a little bit more money in the bank, a little bit less, but you're a regular person. Stop this self-aggrandizing, right? So I don't know. That's my opinion. I got one more little video to play for y'all. I'm gonna share this video so y'all can see it and then y'all can hear it. And then we're gonna be messy and wrap this show up. This is Jamison Samuels, the fill-in host for culture and conversations. Let me see here. Did this thing ever load? It did. It did load, and I'm not gonna play that. But this other video I will play because it's the one I wanted to play. Let me go here to my monitor. Let me make sure I'm safe to show y'all this, and then I'm gonna give you some volume on this here Rodecaster. and then we're going to hit play. And of course, it's just
back to you. Call them. Let's see.
All right, let's call this one.
all right. Let me just refresh this because I want to get back out at the very start of this here. Thank you. Stop.
Approximately 3.
All right, Sarah.
Probably like 10 or 11.
10 or 11. The guys go out the way for y'all. Am I right or wrong?
You're right.
Yeah, they go out the way for y'all. Y'all
So this podcaster was asking these women on his couch who was interviewing how many men they had in their friend zone. And so at the beginning, one lady said 2 or 3, and this lady here said 10 or 11. So he's going to prove a point about how these men are really interested in them. And these women know they're interested in them, but they're playing a game. So I want you to hear this.
could easily hit up a nigga and he'll send you 40 for cash out. All y'all can get 40 right now. Matter of fact, we about to try it. Sarah, get your phone. I'm going to tell you what to do, but after that, you're going to text him like, JK, I was on a podcast. I'll send the 40 right back to you. Call him. Let's see.
All right, let's call this one.
Yes, Sarah, how are you?
Good, how are you? I got a quick favor. I was wondering...
You called me, I thought you missed me.
Of course, you know I miss you. Is there any way I could get like $80 from you?
I mean, yeah.
All right.
Can I sell it to you?
That's 400. That's 400.
Could you do 100? And then I'll explain later?
Yeah, but Zelle is fine because I don't have cash.
Okay. All right, thank you.
So go ahead. Call him.
Hello? I need to ask you something.
So this woman just called her random boo thing. That ain't her boo thing because he's in the friend zone and got $100 from that man. And this woman here, she's about to repeat the same exercise and prove yet again that women know when they have men on the hook and they pretend like they don't know so they can keep those men on the hook while getting all the benefits.
Can you send me 100?
On Zelle?
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
How long you been your friend for?
Like a year or two.
Had him in friend zone?
Yeah.
And you know he went the box.
And he probably do, but he's like a loser. Oh, I don't.
He like a what? Go ahead.
I
Say the
forgot
L
we're on
word.
the podcast. No. Hey, there's certain
He a
people.
loser.
No,
That's what you just said. Nigga, you watching this right now?
She said he's a loser. She said he's a loser. Interesting. So I have a way of dealing with this. Men should not be giving their money to women. Don't be giving favors to women. If you're interested in her sexually, you want a relationship from that woman, then don't give that woman anything. And if you do give it to her, prepare to have it taken from you and lose it. You're never gonna get it back. So you can pursue women who are uninterested in you, man. You can do that. But no, she knows she's fully aware that you're interested. So don't pretend. Don't let her pretend like I didn't really know you liked me like that. Don't fall for that. Don't fall for that. This is a trick as old as time. I'm just telling you. I know y'all are being messy. Tyler Perry's comments on dating. What did Tyler Perry say about dating? And Felicia, I think that the things I named were just me rattling off stuff. It's really what works for you and what you're attracted to, right? At the end of the day, no matter what you're attracted to, that person's going to have to get to know you in order to figure those things out. And then that person's going to have to be serious about displaying those things. And those things are always attractive. And this is the thing about it too. You people try to downplay men with money. That's a new thing too in 2023. Oh, well, I got my own and I'm really not attracted to that. Women are always attracted to the things that promote successful men. A sign that a man's successful is that he typically does have some type of financial means, right? And so women are attracted to those characteristics because those are things that are baked into the DNA of us as human beings to be attracted to. Now, to your point, you may not care nothing about him, spending money on you and doing all these things and blah, 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 blah. You're right. That's your prerogative. I agree with that. And I uphold that because not everybody wants that necessarily, but everybody wants men who are good quality men who are successful, stable, and methodical and execute well in life. And those things tend to also be the same indicators of success that lead to them having means and able to be able to provide a certain kind of lifestyle for women. And so let's see here what we got here. Tyler Perry dating. Let's see if there's anything that comes up here. Okay. So Tyler Perry talks about splitting bills. Let's see here. Let's see what we got here. He's talking about splitting checks, who split bills in relationships. Okay, let's see what he got here. Tyler says, a lot of women, especially black women, and I might get in trouble for saying this, but I will. He said, in our society right now, black women are making a lot more money for the most part than black men. He added that while there are a lot of black men who are successful, black women are the ones making the money for the most part. With that in mind, Tyler Perry encouraged women to pursue relationships with men based on their personality traits and not based on how much money they make. That's what Felicia was saying too. And I think that's any reason why you should pursue a man. Like, I think the idea that women who want a man who has a certain amount of financial means, I think that's oftentimes like a misnomer. Like, oh well, she's only with him because he's got money. No, money makes it easier for her then to see his personality traits, because he doesn't have some of those same crazy stresses and situations going on all the time that he has to that everybody else has to navigate. He's just living his life in a very calm fashion, materially speaking. So if I'm a jerk and I got money, then I'm really a jerk. I could be a jerk and just be stressed out in that moment because I got a bill due. But if I got money and my bills are paid and I'm a jerk, then that's just me being a jerk. Like, there's no excuse in that. There's no empathy you can give to that. That's just a personality trait. If I'm controlling because I ain't got money, because I'm trying to make sure I manage my situation and circumstances, that's understandable to me. But if I got money and I'm controlling, then I'm just controlling. You know, I ain't got no excuse. I've got no natural excuses at that point to be contributing to those characteristics. So I think every woman, even if she wants a man who has a certain amount of means in life, he's still going to have the personality to be able to sustain that relationship. I'm more attracted to the values and ethics than drive that ethics that drive success. Exactly, right? That's what I'm making. Not material things or money. I know plenty of successful people who are not wealthy. It's all about our perspective on success and what that is. That's true. Because at the end of the day, your stuff is not a validation of you. You still got to maintain the relationship. You got to be the type of person that person wants to be in a relationship with. Same thing about beauty. Your beauty doesn't validate the relationship. I don't care how attractive you are. At some point, like, you got to be the type of person that you can be in a relationship with. Money is a necessity, but not the final placeholder. It's the drive for life, and to keep us propelled forward. That's it. It's the drive for life and to keep us propelled forward. That's big. That's big, man. That's big. Let me go back up here and see what Brian says here. So I read this. In a past life, I used to do well from the friend zone. In the past life, you used to shoot from the friend zone. Yeah, man. It's a lot of stuff going on here, man. I think everybody, I would, and as I wrap up, I'm done with this show for tonight, y'all. 2 hour stream. Y'all still hung in there with me, man. At the end of the day, man, I think that you got to do what's best for you in relationships. People are going to do that anyway. So you got to move that way, that people are going to do what's best in the relationship for them. And also, you know, you got to be grounded by something deep, man. You know, I'm a person of faith. You know, I'm a Christian, and I'm grounded by my faith. That's what guides me. That's what guides me when I can't stand, you know, people I love. That's what guides me when I love people I love. It's all the same, right? I have to move a certain kind of way and be grounded by something really deep. Because if you're not grounded by deep things in life, then you're going to get blown to and fro by every wind, right? You got to be anchored by something. What in your worldview anchors you so that then people can get a feeling and a vibe for who you are and build some trust there, right? Like, you know, what we're really asking people to do in relationships is we're asking them to build on our foundation, right? And does your foundation pass inspection? I can't build a house on you as my foundation if you're built on shifting sand. And so I think that's part of the story is like, hey man, money is cool. Trips is cool. Her being sexy and vibrant in bed is cool. All of that stuff's cool, man. But if you're talking about a lasting relationship, who is that person? How would you respond, man, if that person got deathly ill? If that person got sick as a dog, like what are you gonna do? You know, I never forget, as I wrap this up, my mom, you know, last year she lost my father. My dad died, and one of the things that I watched them go through was his sickness. You know, I didn't see it up close and personal every day, but when I was home, I saw it up close and personal every day. And I never forget one day my dad he was on dialysis, and he was coming off of dialysis. He had to go to his brother's funeral, matter of fact. And I was at the funeral also, my uncle's funeral. And my dad, when he was on dialysis, when he got off of dialysis, he would oftentimes be very weak. And if you've ever had family who's ever experienced dialysis, then you know that's a typical side effect or condition that comes with being on dialysis. They can have really rough, you know, some days following being on dialysis. And so, but my dad, he wanted to go to his brother's funeral, and so he wasn't going to let that be the thing that stopped him. But I never forget, my dad kind of had lost his balance at the funeral when they were walking back out to the car. And I never forget this image as long as I live. My dad was in his peak, the epitome of manhood. My dad always had a pocket full of money. My dad worked hard. My dad saved a lot of money in his life. Crazy work ethic. Just businessman. All the things that if you get any of that in your DNA as his son, you hope that you can make good with it, right? But when my dad was sick and he was spending his last days here on earth with my mother in their marriage, my dad was walking out to that car from that funeral and lost his balance. And he reached out, and I never forget this. He reached out and grabbed my mother's shoulder and said, hey girl, hold on here. And he grabbed her shoulder, and she slowed down so that he could stand up. Y'all don't hear what I'm saying. She slowed down so that he could stand up, and they walked to the car together. This ain't about no high value man and high value woman. That's a fun conversation. I'm looking for the person that when I'm about to fall because I'm weak, I can grab her shoulder, and at a minimum, we both gonna end up on that ground. At a minimum, look, I ain't gonna be on the ground by myself. If I'm on the ground, then she's on the ground. But if she's strong enough for me to stand up against, I'm gonna do it. And I hope and pray vice versa, that if she reaches for my shoulder, that I'll be able to hold her up, and slow down for her so that we can walk together. That's my show tonight, y'all. That's my show tonight. That's my show tonight. High value man, someone who cleans you up on both ends when you get food poisoning or is he drunk and they don't flinch. I knew he was a keeper when he stayed and cleaned and didn't haul off, but kept my hair out of that mess. Look, man, that's love, man. That is love. You know, love looks a lot, man. Love looks a lot of ways to a lot of people. But if you look at it all, man, that's what it was. And I'm gonna tell you the honest truth. When my father died, my mother didn't rejoice. She didn't jump for joy about what she was inheriting or having access to all my father had worked for and saved up for them. That wasn't her experience. You know, she didn't remember the fights, at least not initially. She did. She had to go through her grieving process, and so that's part of the story. That's a whole different podcast for another night. She saw him dying, and she saw him dead at the funeral, and at the wake, and she remembered that that's the man she loved, you know, and they were together for 48 years. And if God had blessed my father with 2 more years, they would have been together 50 years, you know. That's what I saw growing up. And I saw other things growing up that I won't talk about on the podcast because that's my parents' story. But it wasn't all good, but it sure as hell wasn't all bad. And when it all really mattered, when my dad was packing his bags, getting ready to leave this existence that we call life, my mother slowed down so that he could stand up. And I appreciate that. And I know y'all, you know, some people were like, well, you know, your daddy, he couldn't do the things he used to do, and he couldn't do this and that. But when them storms would come down there through South Georgia and rattle them oak trees over the house, My dad, even as frail as he was, even as infirm as he was, my dad gave my mom a peace of mind. My dad gave my mom company and companionship. My dad kept my mama secure through all of that, through all of her uncertainty. He always was the lighthouse that showed them that they could get done. She always leaned on his confidence. And so people don't understand that it's not just about, money and stuff and trips and all that stuff that we done let social media cloud us on. It's about the everyday moments of life, man. And so that's what I'm looking for as a very average value man. That's what I'm looking for. So, brother, we got one more of these to do, AJ. We got one more of these to do. And that's the last live stream, man. I don't know what that's going to look like, but it's going to happen between now and the end of the month. I got plans this weekend, though. I can't, I got plans. I got some plans this weekend, man. I'm trying to go and celebrate birthdays and whatnot and continue this journey. But, man, thank y'all so much for watching tonight. The last episode of Jamison Samuels, that's because she saw him as a high-value man. That's my entire point. Yeah, look, Felicia, I'm rocking with you, man. I'm rocking with you. I joke a lot about certain things, and I do place an emphasis to a degree on certain things. But I seen some real stuff growing up, and there's some stuff that I saw, and I would have never even saw that image of my father and reaching out for my mother as a support when he was sick. If I hadn't went to that funeral. And normally I don't even go to funerals like that. And I would just so happen to be at that funeral because I was asked to be at that funeral. And God blessed me with that image because that's really what it's about, man. Because at the end of the day, if that person won't reach out, if that person won't let you catch their shoulder, that person ain't the person for you. That person just ain't the person for you. Now, they might provide a lot of other things along the journey, but you ain't going to finish the race with that person, in my opinion. You might, but the chances are you're probably not. So, let me find me some music, man. Let me find me something here to play that will sign us off as Jamison Samuels for the last time. Let me go back in here and play this here. I'm going to just play this right here. This classic Kevin Samuels song here, man. Appreciate you, Kevin, for giving us all this great content over this sort of like meteoric rise and unfortunate demise. But us content creators could not do, we do our best job to try to impersonate you without being, without making all the women mad. Hey man, I'm out, man. I got one more episode, man, of this show called Hashtag the Group Chat. And I want you guys to be a part of that conversation. And so look out for that, man. We're going to do that, man, probably the last week of September, man, of this month. In the meantime, man, go over to my YouTube channel, which is part of the reason why I'm retiring from this game. Go over to the YouTube channel, man. Check out Jamison Presents This Is How I Cook. Don't be in the kitchen with your woman talking about what we gonna eat. You get in there rolling them sleeves, bro, and you cook her a meal, man. You might get lucky. She might go in the bedroom, making you think she about to help you scramble some eggs, and then she gonna go to sleep on that pillow, man, nice and full. That's what we talking about, man. Send her to bed full, man. There's other ways to put women to sleep. There's other ways to put them to sleep. Go in there and slave in that kitchen, and then go to sleep, and then watch her go to sleep. Hey, man. Hey, we love y'all, man. We really do, man. Brother, I think we're gonna do something like that, man. We're gonna see. I don't know what it is yet, man. I don't know what it is yet. How we gonna sign off, Brian? But we're gonna have people coming through, popping in. I want to do something like that. I'm almost tempted, if I plan it right, maybe we can do something here at the house, but I don't know yet. I gotta decide, y'all. But either way, man, thank y'all for these jokes and these laughs tonight. I needed that after the kind of day I had at work, y'all. I needed that, man. Tell your good lies, man. Y'all, I'm out. This has been another episode of Jamison Presents Jamison Samuels on Hashtag the Group Chat, man. Love you guys, man. I can't believe we only got one more episode, y'all. One more episode, But let me go take this jacket off, man. And yeah, Kevin. Well, not Kevin, but Vividry, man, whatever his group name is. Well, when you used to hear this music here, boy, that was about to be your behind. That there was about to be all kind of stuff said. People just hearing all kind of stuff, making up stuff. Kevin's gonna say some stuff that night, man. Yes.
Yesterday's price is not today's price.
That's why I stopped sugar daddying right there. Didn't have the means. Hey man, love you guys, man. Jamison Samuels is out. Y'all heard that falsetto. Tell you good lies. Yeah, I'm fine no matter what. Unless I gotta make some eggs. Learn how to make them eggs, brother.